What's up, everybody?
Good evening. Happy Wednesday.
We're excited. It's night 3, y'all.
It's day 3. It's the final countdown.
It's going to be a great night. What's up? Yes, I love that energy off the top.
Welcome back.
Nicole Love, thank you for joining us. You've been rocking with us throughout this challenge. If you're joining, let us know where you're from.
How's everyone's day going? What y'all have for dinner? Let us know. How y'all feeling after night 2? What are some thoughts that you have? Give us one word to describe how you felt logging off yesterday. I would love to hear.
Yes. Be more. Yes. What's up, D, with the smooch emoji? We don't know what your real name is, but we appreciate
like
you.
That.
Night 2 was no joke.
Listen, night 2 was no joke. Yeah.
But you still here. You still made it.
Y'all weren't scared away. You came back.
We proud of y'all, man. To do this for 3 nights, you're gonna be so proud of yourself and so happy that you did this.
Yes, I love it. I love the commitment. I love the investment.
We're just letting a few more people log on before we get started. Yeah, Alma told us about night 2. How did everybody else feel about night 2's challenge? Well, how did you feel? I missed night 2. How long will it be up? For the rest of the week. So you got some time, Nicole. You definitely gonna want to check it out after this because, yeah, you wish it could be longer. Oh, we appreciate that. We got awesome. Something. We may have something for you.
The fun doesn't have to end.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good night.
The growth, all of that.
If you were here for night 2, let us know what you took away from it. And Nicole, I know you were here for night 1. How was that for you? We just letting some few more people log on.
Always a good sign when people come back. That means that it was helpful. That means y'all aren't scared. I love that. Some people run from the work, they run from that deep work, but y'all are serious.
Absolutely.
And God sees that.
Spellman, what's up, man? I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could say your first name without butchering it, but I'm scared. I'm nervous to try to say.
That's our friend. I think she's from South Africa.
Yes, I love it. Night 1 was healing. Amen.
Wow,
praise God.
Hallelujah.
That is awesome. Thank you, Jesus.
Healing is awesome.
Dio, I'm glad you feel the same. All right, are you ready to get started?
Heck yeah. We know that y'all came back because you want some more good stuff. You want some more growth. You want some more healing. So we have that for you.
LaBelle, absolutely, you can catch up with night 1 and night 2. And first of all, I'm glad you came, even though you missed that, because you're still going to get a lot tonight, and you'll be able to catch up to the rest for the rest of the week. So,
but that's one of the great things about these 3-day challenges is people are busy. It's hard to carve out 3 nights. If you're able, we love that, and that's awesome. But obviously, it can be a busy time. So if you can only do 1 night, that's better than no nights.
Yeah, and tonight's the night to be here. So we're ready to get started in tonight. For those who may be new, if this is your first night, let us know.
Yes, welcome.
Let us know if this is your first night. If you've been here for all 3 nights, please put in the chat.
3 for 3.
Yeah, put 3 in the chat if you've been here all 3 nights. If you've been here 2 out of the 3 nights, including tonight,
that counts.
Let us know. We just want to know where everybody is at tonight. Maya, I'm glad you're excited. Let's go. That's right.
I love the energy.
Let's go. I love how y'all talking in the comments too. That helps us because we can't see.
Keep that up. Keep that up for sure.
All right. So if you're new and this is your first night, welcome to Ready for a Relationship. This challenge is designed to propel you into the love life that God has for you. Shout out to everybody that's been here for 3 nights, 2 of the 3 nights. And if this is your first night, hey, in Rome 828, this is the best night to be here. So let's go.
We're glad you're here no matter how many nights you've been.
Absolutely. So Pauline's going to give a quick spiel. Some of y'all know it.
So some of y'all, if you're here, this is for our folks who are here for the first time. We're so glad that you're here. We are Tim and Pauline Wheeler. We are a married couple. We've been married since 2018, so still kind of new in the game. But we are the host of the W podcast, where we answer your questions about love, dating, sex, and relationships from a godly perspective. That's actually available right here on YouTube. We would love for you to join and check out the podcast there. There's also a community called Just Dating Community. Shout out to JDC folks who are in the room, who are in online with us tonight. We have a Facebook group we'd love for you to join. We're also the founders of a program called Just Dating University, which y'all have heard a little bit about. You're going to hear even more about that tonight. So stay tuned. We're excited that you're here with us tonight.
Absolutely. So for those who are new, here's how you get the most out of today. Everybody that's been here night 1, night 2, you know this.
Yeah, y'all know the rules.
But guess what?
Know.
Sometimes when you've been doing stuff for a while, you can tend to get lax. So this is a good reminder to lock in tonight. If you got something on your TV, turn it off. Put your kids in the closet if you got some.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. But lock in, because tonight we're going to share some powerful stuff that's going to help you be honest with yourself. If we share something that you're not sure about, be honest with yourself that you're not sure, or you could be better in that area. That's okay. That's how we can start growing. And then number 3, be open.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're hearing something for the first time, we don't want you to just cross it off your mind. Like literally when we end, take it to prayer and say, Lord, this is what these crazy people are saying. Like, what do you think about it? And we would love for you to just be able to talk to God about it, because that's what matters.
Right, absolutely. We're not really even here for you to hear what we have to say. We're creating a space for you to hear what God has to say for you about your dating life and your love life, and hear from Him what He has for you, right? Because that's what works. That's what produces results. And if you have your Ready for Relationship workbook, now's the time to pull it out, to bring it up on your phone. If you printed it out, now's the time to bring it up, to take notes as we go, and even reference back what are the things that have been pointing out to you, that the Holy Spirit's been nudging you on these past couple of nights throughout each challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So the day 2 challenge check-in, we do want to check in really quick.
Yes.
We did it a little bit in the beginning, but which part did you do? Did you just think about somebody that loved God, that is generous, that's kind, or did you have to text somebody and see who they knew?
Yeah, let us know. Y'all had a homework assignment. If it's your first night joining, you'll catch up when you watch the day 2 challenge, but they had a 24-hour assignment to take a next step in getting to know somebody better who is a good option. We went through what a good option is. We want to hear from y'all. How did it go? Yeah. Did you do it? Did you not? Why not? Because you have to remember, this is a challenge. This isn't just information that you're taking in. This is an opportunity for you to activate your faith through steps.
Somebody texted 3 friends. Shout out to you.
Wow, way to go.
Did you get any responses, like names? Did you get any names?
People you should consider and pray about.
Just to catch people up who this is their first night. We wanted them to consider somebody that they could in turn start having more intentionality towards. We weren't telling nobody to go on a date. We were just saying, hey, who is somebody that is a good option, that loves God, that's generous, that has a vision for their life, that you can start intentionally having more conversations with?
Okay, so you thought of somebody godly after that you've been dismissing. Thank you for your honesty. I think a lot of us can probably relate to that, and sometimes you dismiss people.
Alma, that is okay. Like, it's a process. Like, God is still in this process. And sometimes it takes some people one night. Sometimes it may take until the weekend, and that's totally okay.
Because this isn't magic, y'all. This is a process.
But just continue checking in with God. Like, Lord, I don't have no confirmation. I know I'm your sheep. I know I hear your voice. I would love for you to speak to me about this, and He definitely will.
Right.
But I'm glad that y'all took the challenge seriously. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you haven't done it yet, for whatever reason, it's not too late. Make sure you're checking in with the Lord if you know what He wants you to do. That's what's most important. And be obedient. Whatever it is He wants you to do, be obedient immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Praying for confirmation. That's great. That is a great place to start.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of days, but let's go. So, are you ready to build a healthy relationship right now? That is the question we want you all to be thinking about tonight. That's the concept we're kind of talking about tonight. So we just want to know, are you ready? Because night 1 was about getting you healed, getting you whole, getting you healthy. Night 2 was about your character, building that up so that it's strong, and then allowing you to be not having any fear of man,
Yeah.
of letting people know that you're looking to date. And tonight is, if God brought you your person today, would you be ready to build a healthy relationship?
Right. Because some of y'all, you don't have a hard time getting dates. You've actually been on a good number of dates this year, or maybe in the past couple of years. You don't have a problem starting the fire, but you do have a problem continuing it and keeping it alive. So sometimes, if you meet a great person, sometimes you don't know what to do with them, and we want to help you solve that problem tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Because to build a strong relationship, you have to start with a solid foundation. That's what you all have been beginning to do throughout this 3-day challenge. Whether you've been here all 3 nights or this is your first night, you're building a foundation, because just like a house needs a solid foundation in order for it to be built and not crumble, the same thing is with our relationships. But sadly, so many people miss this.
Yeah.
Because if we're being honest, we all grew up watching Disney movies, or we all grew up watching TV and seeing what people said and how they handle relationships. And we were watching a podcast the other day, and the guy was talking about how in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whether it be shows like The Cosby Show or shows like The Jeffersons, you would see married couples on TV from the beginning of the episode. And then we start getting to the 90s, and you see shows like Martin, and there's no shade in any of this, but just you see shows like Martin, and the last episode is when they get married.
Right. Kind of like things end when you get married. And there's so many movies are like that too. Right. It's like about the love story of how you meet, but when people get into marriage, they don't know what to do.
And the problem with that, when you don't have the marriage in mind in the beginning, you set yourself up to just be going lollygagging, not really being intentional. And then when you get married, you are lost. And that's our goal. We truly believe that healthy dating leads to healthy marriage.
Right.
And in order to have a healthy marriage, you have to date well first. So that's why this part is so important. This is genuinely the first time in your life you felt ready. That is awesome, fam. So remember back to night 1. Let's just do a little quick recap. We learned that it's possible to fumble the blessings that God wants you to have. If you remember back, we were talking about the Israelites. And for those who weren't here, we were talking about the Israelites and how they were promised to leave Egypt and go to the promised land. What changed? It wasn't God's desire for them not to enter the promised land, but they didn't enter it because they weren't healthy. That's why night 1, we were talking all about being healthy. We were talking about being whole, because it's so important to make sure that you're healthy so you don't sabotage what God has for you. Right. We also talked about Saul. Some of you remember King Saul. Everybody knows King David, but you shouldn't even know who King David is, because King Saul was supposed to be the king that Israel had forever. But because he wasn't healthy, because he didn't trust God, he fumbled the blessing that God had for him. So we learned that it's possible to fumble the blessing that God has for you. And this relates to you in your relationship, or the relationship you want to have, because when you are not healthy, you're not going to be able to sustain a healthy relationship, even if you make it to marriage, because that's just the starting line. That's not the finish line.
Well, yeah, I like to think of dating as honestly like pregnancy. Like the baby is still alive and they're still, they're growing. You can feel them kicking, and like it's a big change, but the baby's life doesn't really start until they are out of the womb. And I'm not trying to get, political or technical here. But that's a way to think about dating. So many of us think, when I get in a relationship, kind of like I arrived. Like I found my person, we're best friends, we both love God, like kind of the work is done. I'll just kind of hang out until our wedding day. And that's not how it works at all. You always want to be growing and learning and be curious about your partner and about yourself, because you're both going to be growing, but you need tools and resources and mindsets in order to do those things well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. So if you're not ready emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, then a relationship, the weight of it could crush you in the end. And hear our heart. We're not saying that you need to be perfect emotionally.
Right.
We're not saying you need to be perfect spiritually. We're not saying you need to be perfect mentally. But you should have the heart of, I want to get as healthy as I possibly can before a relationship, during a relationship, and after. Yeah. Because guess what, y'all? I'm sorry to break this to you, but when you get married, there's going to be some things, like each new level, they say new level, new devils. At each new level, you're going to start realizing some things about you. So right now you're single, but when you start dating, I remember there was things that I thought I had been done with. Right. I thought I had lost all of the desire for those things. But when we started dating, those things started coming back out because they weren't dead. They were just dormant.
Yeah, and that's something that we go through with our students, and our program is about those things that do lie dormant, and how do you identify those, how do you deal with those, how do you prepare for them, even as a single person, and really in a relationship, because technically when you're in a relationship, you're still single, you're unmarried, because if you don't learn those tools, it's going to be even harder. Because marriage is hard, and maybe some of you on here have actually been married before, and you can understand that. I think, yeah, someone said that in the chat that they relate, and it is so common because a lot of times, we honestly prepare more for our weddings than we do our marriage, and the wedding is one day. Sometimes it's two, depending on what culture you come from. But either way, it's not nearly as long as your marriage. We're putting more work into preparing for marriage than we should, be saving for our wedding. Some people have say for their kids' weddings when they're like infants, and we don't prepare, in our culture for marriage as much as we should.
Yeah, that's good. So remember back to day 2. Some of you may have not been here on day 2, so we want to give a quick recap. We learned that strong character produces strong relationships. We talked about how important it is to make sure you have a strong character, because we talked about Ruth and Boaz, and how Ruth and Boaz got married, not because it was love at first sight, but because they saw, oh, like, you are kind, oh, you are a hard worker, oh, you're loyal. They saw the character that they had, and that gave them a desire to continue to get to know each other and then eventually get married. So you definitely want to make sure you continue to work on your character.
Right.
And because here's a question we have for y'all. Why would God send you an amazing person if you're not going to treat them well?
Right. And that goes back to what we mentioned earlier about, like, hey, you're praying for God to send you someone, but what would you actually do with that person when God brought them into your life? Do you know how to love them well? Do you know how to ask good questions? Do you know how to navigate a relationship? And honestly, don't feel bad if your answer to this is, I don't know what I would do, because the chances are, if you did, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in, and that's okay. You have an opportunity to grow and to learn. But I think so many times we focus on, like, oh, I just want to kind of get this box checked, or I want to be in a relationship because I want to feel chosen. I want to be selected, not necessarily because I want to serve and because I want to give and because I want to, add value to another person's life.
Yeah, absolutely. Stewardship is a big thing for God, as you all know, as Christians. So we got to make sure we're stewarding the season that we're in now, and also stewarding learning how to date better so that we can actually date well once we get there. So if you want your dating life to look different in 2023, you have to do something different. That's something that we want you to think about tonight as we go through the rest of tonight, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result.
Right. And raise your hand if you don't want to be insane. No, I don't.
Some of you want to be in a relationship this time next year. And if you're honest with yourself, for some of you, you may have went through this whole year and haven't gone on one date. You haven't gone to one event to meet anybody. You haven't done anything different. Or some of you, you've always been doing that. And you've always been putting yourself out there, and you just need to slow down a little bit.
Right.
For those who have the workbook, you saw in the beginning of the workbook, it talked about laid back dating characteristics. It talked about aggressive dating characteristics. 100%. It's so important to know, are you laid back when it comes to dating? Are you aggressive? Because if you're too much of one thing, you're probably not in the best position.
Yeah, and that goes back to the self-awareness piece that we talked through with, in our program. And that's really, really big, because a lot of times people ask, I think somebody asked the other night, like, well, how do you know, that God is leading you to do something? Or how does God speak to you personally? And a lot of times, if God is asking you to do something, if it's not your voice, you have to know what your natural bend is. If you're like, oh, well, typically I'm a late night person, so if God's telling you to do kind of the opposite, because God is always stretching us. He's always making us better and pulling us forward and drawing us closer to him. So, but if you don't know where you fall kind of on that spectrum, if you're like, oh, I don't really notice. And one of the tips that we gave on the other nights is to analyze and dissect, or even do an autopsy report of your dating life up until this point. Chances are, even if you've never been in an official relationship before, chances are you've talked to some people, you've gone on some dates. Maybe some of you have been married on here, or you've been in several long-term relationships. Take a sit down with the workbook, with your notebook, with the Holy Spirit, and really go through, why did those relationships end? What fault did I have? Maybe I didn't choose well. Maybe I didn't treat that person well out of insecurity or out of unhealth or what I had seen growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. So for some of you, these past 3 nights have been the biggest investment you have ever made into your personal growth, especially when it comes to your relationships.
Yeah.
Like you've never done anything this long, this consistent to really learn how to have a healthy relationship. And we're so proud of you for making that decision. But we have a question. What would happen if you continue to invest in yourself to have a healthier relationship? Like where would you be? Where would you be by the end of 2023 if you continue to invest to have a healthy, thriving relationship? Some of you, we saw you in the comments, you said, I wish this wasn't going to end. Like what can you do to continue to invest in yourself so that you are ready? Because here's the thing. There's one thing to be ready for a relationship. There's another thing to once you're in a relationship and you actually been going through some things, like how do you continue and sustain that? It's a whole different ball game. So we have a surprise tonight.
Yes. We want you all to meet Glenn. Say hi, Glenn. Give him a wave in the chat, in the comments. Give him a wave emoji. Say hi. Glenn is a JDU alumni who actually decided to stop being insane. He did something new in his dating life in 2022, and he wanted to join us tonight to tell you all a little bit about his journey.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
Oh, you might be on
What's
mute.
going on? How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up, man?
What's up?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of
How you feeling
course, of
tonight?
course. I I actually went to a volleyball game, so I just got home from that. So I'm feeling pretty good, but yeah.
Well, we appreciate you for taking a few minutes out your day to spend with us. The reason we have Glenn on here is because y'all heard from us for the past 3 nights, but we wanted to show you somebody that was in the same season as you, that may be in the same season as you right now, and just for you to be able to see someone else like you. Because sometimes when you hear somebody that's already done it, you're like, man, that worked for you. But we want to show you another perspective.
Right, absolutely. So we have 5 questions for you, Glenn, that we would love for you to share as honest as you can be. Obviously, as much as you would like or want to share. Just kind of tell everybody a little bit more about your story. And the first question that we have is, what challenges did you experience dating as a Christian before you joined JDU?
That's a great question. I probably would say first is just knowing how to date as a Christian. It's like the rules. It's like, is there rules? Like, what should I be doing? What should I not be doing? That was like really the biggest thing for me. It's just like, what do I do? How do I even go about this? Because you don't want to step the wrong way and everybody looking at you like, what are you doing? Because I mean, we're trying to date not like the world anymore. So
right.
So I think that was like one of the biggest things. And also, I mean, yeah, you're just like the rules, and then finding other people who were dating in the same way. So I mean, that was like a big challenge. So those would be like my 2 biggest challenges.
Yeah,
definitely.
that community piece is so big. So given those challenges that you were facing and not knowing the rules, not really knowing how to navigate it, doing it as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, why did you decide to join JDU at the time that you did? Kind of talk to us about what's going on in your life and why you were like, yeah, this is the next step for me.
Yeah, so I mean, I was definitely interested in dating and like finding somebody to date, and then of course like potentially go towards marriage. So once I saw like the podcast and like looking at that, I definitely was very interested in just like learning more from both of you. But also I had like some other friends who were also interested in the same thing, so we all were kind of like, we should do this. Let's do this together. Let's go on this thing and let's like learn, because we all had the same questions. Because literally my friend circle, we have these conversations about like, hey, what should we do this? Should we be doing that? And just for you guys to plainly be like, we've experienced it, we've gone through it, we've learned from other people, we also experienced it ourselves. And then just being in the classes, like, it just makes sense to kind of just take a class to understand, especially if somebody's about to explain it to you.
Yeah,
right.
That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Given that too, just kind of building off that and your why you joined, to kind of get those questions answered and to kind of get the roadmap for Christian dating. While you were in the program, we're kind of looking back now that you're an alumni. What would you say is the most valuable part of the program for you? Because I know we gave you guys kind of a lot of different things, and some I'm sure may have stood out to you a little bit more than others.
I would say the most valuable part of the program was and it's funny because Tim will say this, like, I wasn't really a person who like asked like a lot of questions during our like individual like sessions, but I was like someone who wanted to really like watch you two interact. So I
Ooh.
was like really big on that part of it. Especially like watching you when we had like our in-person thing, just watching how you two interact with each other, how like Tim treats you, how you like treat Tim in the same fashion. So to me, that was what was valuable to me, but also just hearing your just opinion on the different topics, especially just like boundaries was a big thing, because like that was something like before that like I really wasn't like doing, honestly, but yeah, I would say
Right.
boundaries and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's huge. Boundaries are such a hot button topic, especially in the Christian space. So I'm glad that was valuable and provided some clarity for you. The next question that we want to hear from you is, after you completed the program, what did you do differently? So maybe you made some changes while you were in the program, or maybe some changes after. Just kind of let us know, what you changed. It could have been a mindset. Maybe I thought differently, or maybe I made different choices. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, definitely. I would say first, of course, like actually writing my boundaries out. I know that was like a challenge you guys gave us, is like write your boundaries out. Don't just like say like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like put it down and say and try to like and stick to them. Also, I would say being more intentionality about the people I'm interacting with, who I'm interacting with, like making those relationships and like spying out the land. And we use the word spying out the land, the phrase spying out the land all the time. But like when I'm doing that, like being intentional about it, to make like an educated like choice on who to date and who not to date and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's really good.
Yeah. No, thank you for that, because I think that's one of the hard things, and we've been walking through a challenge with all the folks on here for the past couple of nights, and I think it's really easy to just be like, oh, I'm not going to do the challenge, but you just shared how much of an impact it makes when you actually do write things down and you do take it seriously. So hopefully that encourages you all. The last question that we have for you, Glenn, is, what would you describe your dating life like now? So that can be anything, super black and white, or it can just be like, hey, now that I'm done, I'm kind of several months removed from this is kind of how I've been moving. Talk to us about what life's like for you now when it comes to dating as a Christian.
I would say since like JDU, definitely more intentionality. So just my mind frame is different. So understanding like how to move in that sense. I mean, I guess just like a personal like shout out, I am dating someone currently. So like that's like a yeah, so that's awesome. So I definitely I met somebody dating her. We're about like 2 months in. So it's new, but they're definitely like taking those next steps now of like, for me, like what I've learned like in JDU. So it's definitely to see like where I started at JDU to now like transitioning to actually now being in a dating like relationship.
And being able to use those things.
Do you think that, and you can be honest, like do you feel like tangibly you see you are doing things differently than you believe you would have done if you hadn't learned whatever you learned in JDU?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like it's giving me like, so like I'm thinking about it. So it's like, all right, when like I'm making decisions, I'm like, all right, based on what I've learned, or based on what like the advice I've been giving, like should I be moving in my relationship in this way, or should I be making these different decisions? And also, I mean, just by how I'm like communicating, like just like everything we were talking about, like communication, how important it is. Like it's like once you're in it, you're really like, oh, all right, now I see what you're talking about. Like we really have to like talk and like respect each other and understand like where each other is coming from. So like especially like I know we did like that communication wheel, like something like that. It's just like, yeah. So.
It's hands-on. It's kind of like when you're literally in school and then you're like, oh my gosh, when am I going to use this stuff? And then you get your first job, you're like, oh, wow, I actually need to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, that's amazing, bro. We're proud of you.
Yeah, congratulations. We're so happy for you.
It's no surprise that God has blessed you with a relationship because you chose to do the work. You were a good steward of your time before you went in a relationship, and now you're ready to actually treat your girlfriend well. Right. So that's huge. That's awesome. And we appreciate you coming on tonight. Like,
of
seriously,
course.
So thankful.
Yes.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Glenn.
See you guys.
All right, y'all. Yeah. You heard it from a JDU alumni. Let us know what y'all took from Glenn's insight, from his quick little story about his experience. We would love to know the impact that had me. But I just love it. I feel like a proud, like, big sis. It's just, I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing just to see, because I remember when we were dating.
Yeah.
When we were dating, we were just like everyone on this call tonight.
Yeah.
We were so, I don't even know the right word. I'll say for me, I was pressed. I was like, Lord, I want to know how to date in a way that honors you. I want to date. I want to do it well. And to be able to find resources to help you do that is just incredible.
Yeah.
So we're not done tonight, y'all. Y'all know this is a challenge. So
Right.
we have a challenge for y'all. Don't think it was night 3 you was gonna get out of it. Nope, we got a challenge.
We gotta end it with the gas on.
Yeah, we gotta finish strong.
Yes.
So tonight's challenge, we want you to take one step in your dating life that will make you uncomfortable. Now, some of y'all are like, I just did that last night. Some of y'all are like, wasn't last night enough? And last night was great if you actually did it. Last night was great, but just because you took one step doesn't mean you're at your destination. We're trying to build something here with you. So we want you to take another step. For some of you, the one step you're going to take tonight is actually doing last night's challenge.
Right. Going backwards.
We are going to do another step tonight, y'all, because we're going to help you. We're going to help you get closer to your destination of being in a healthy, happy relationship. So if you remember back to last night, we talked about Ruth and Boaz. They made themselves uncomfortable. I don't know if you realized it when we were reading through the scripture, but they made themselves uncomfortable. I don't know about you, but when Ruth laid down at Boaz's stinky feet.
Oh my gosh. They had sandal. They didn't have
no soap.
Yeah, they didn't have Arm & Hammer, none of that.
No Irish Springs. It wasn't nothing. She laid down at that man's stinky feet. She made herself uncomfortable to position herself to be in a relationship. Boaz had to make himself uncomfortable. See, we talked about how back in that time, Ruth was a widow and women did not work. There was no corporate America. So she needed a husband in order to provide for her.
Yeah.
So we talked about how Boaz was a part of, she was like his closest next of kin. But in reality, if you read the verse, he wasn't the closest. He was the next closest. So he actually had to go to the person who was the closest and say, hey, I got somebody that's a great woman. Do you want them?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily convenient.
Right, it wasn't. He had to go out of his way to do that. Like, that was uncomfortable. But that uncomfort led them to get married, and that's what we want to help you do. We want to help you take that step to be uncomfortable.
Right, because if we're honest, I know a lot of us, especially women, and I'm sure some men too, but of course I hear more from women, but a lot of times we kind of just expect God to drop our husbands on our laps. Or not necessarily on our laps, but at our front door, or to drop him in our DMs, and obviously you'll hear stories of that. But also, I think sometimes we have to take a step back. Like when you do hear stories of like, oh well, they met and this way or that way, but it's like, okay, but a lot of times women are putting themselves out there in uncomfortable situations, and we talked about that. Earlier in this week, we talked about the assist. We talked about kind of making yourself available in a way that's appropriate as a woman, but still staying in within your bounds, but still also showing interest. So there's ways to do that, but it's all about the small steps of discomfort that you're taking, and you want to make sure that you are constantly being uncomfortable, because that's how you grow, y'all. Even when you get in your relationship, it's not time to relax. When you get married, it's not time to relax.
Yeah. And if we can be honest, we made ourselves uncomfortable in order to get in a relationship. We got a little throwback Wednesday. It's way back Wednesday.
Way back Wednesday.
This is a picture before me and Pauline were ever in a relationship, y'all. We were in the brother and sister in Christ zone. Y'all probably like, what is that? See, you all know about the friend zone, but y'all don't know nothing about that brother in Christ zone. This is my brother. This ain't my friend. This is my brother. That's even worse. Y'all. You know how hard it is to make it out of that? See, at this time, Pauline actually looked at me as a little brother. She's actually 11 months older than me, a year older than me. And I remember before we ever dated, before I even liked her in that way, I told her, I was like, I feel like you look at me like your little brother. And I was offended. It wasn't because I liked her at the time. It was because you're only 11 months older. It's not even a whole calendar year. And it just blew me. But we went from brother and sister in Christ to this. How did we go from what's up, bro, to married and on our wedding day? And if we're honest, a lot of you, if not all of you on this call, want to have this moment. You want to be at your wedding day. You want to have everybody with you that you love celebrating you.
Right.
But it took us getting uncomfortable, realizing that, okay, Pauline said it last night to y'all. Somebody suggested that she start getting to know me. And at the same time, somebody suggested that I started getting to know her. And they weren't in cahoots. It just was God.
Right.
And we had to go to God ourselves. Everything we're telling you to do, we did ourselves.
Right.
I went to God. Pauline went to God. And we separately were like, Lord, people are telling us to consider this person, but I don't want to. So help me see what they're seeing.
Help me, Lord.
Or show me that I'm right and not wanting to date them.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about last night about like the love at first sight and, you know, having a good story versus having good character. And a lot of times, you know, we want to be swept off of our feet and we want to see like, oh, the moment I saw this person, I just had to have them. Somebody might say that's lust. Just keep that in mind. But it's not all about, you know, what happens in the beginning, the sparks flying, whatever that is, because you all know sparks do not sustain a marriage. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get married and stay married. We're not just trying to, you know, have something that's cute and that is Instagram worthy.
Yeah. And here's the thing, y'all. We're not special.
Come on.
That picture, this right here, this could be you. It's not that we're special that we got to be married.
Right.
That's not how it works.
And y'all know that, because y'all know a bunch of people who have gotten married who go crazy or who maybe shouldn't have gotten married. And it's not all about, you know, that specific day. Remember, we said marriage, that wedding is just one day, but we're talking about lifelong legacy of marriage.
Yeah. So we're not special. That could be you too. But there's some steps that you need to take. You need to take some more steps. Y'all probably sick of hearing us say steps. But what does the word say? It says that the Lord orders our steps.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a process.
Okay.
So there are 3 different steps that you could take after this 3-day challenge. Again, we're so proud of everybody who's been on this challenge, whether it was all 3 days or just tonight or just one day.
Right.
But there's some more steps, because this challenge is over after tonight. But there's some steps that you can take to continue on your journey. But here's the steps that most people are going to take. Some people are going to do nothing. Some people are going to do this challenge, and that was cool. That helped me find something to binge besides Netflix. Like that's going to be some people, and that is what it is. That's life. There's going to be some people who are going to try to do it alone. They're like, look, I got all these notes from the challenge, and I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna find somebody. Even though one of the challenges was using community.
Yeah.
And then another step that some of you are going to take is you're going to choose to get help. You're going to take this information that we learned tonight and know that there's so much more to learn besides 3 nights to have a healthy relationship. And you're going to take that information and you're going to choose to want to get help. And for some of you, JDU is the best next step that you need to take to make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if you are curious, what in the world is JDU? Y'all keep saying Just Dating University. Just Dating University is the blueprint for godly dating. If you thought these 3 nights were good,
yeah,
we haven't even scratched the surface of what we need to talk about to help you build the best relationship possible.
Right.
See, in 12 months, if you choose to enroll in JDU, you're going to be able to answer the tough questions of Christian dating. You heard Glenn talk earlier tonight about how he was like, I don't know what boundaries I should have.
Right.
I don't know how to communicate. He mentioned there's a whole wheel that we talked about. Like there's so many things that we go into to help prepare you for a relationship. In 12 months, you'll be able to have clarity on how to find quality dates. We're going to walk you through that. We're going to help you identify if the person you do end up dating is God's best for you. Because there's one thing to be ready for a relationship. There's another thing to be ready to end the relationship if this isn't God's best. And we're going to help you with that.
Right.
And then we're also going to help you make genuine connections with other Christian singles and dating couples and be able to learn from people, which is so valuable.
Right. And to also just be clear, for those of you who are like, oh, wait, I'm already in a relationship, or maybe you're talking to somebody, or you're kind of in the dating phase, maybe it's not an official relationship yet, JDU is for you too, as he mentioned. These tools and the steps and the courses that are within the university are designed for dating couples, and they will help singles as well.
Absolutely. So you may be wondering, how does JDU work? There are 4 different courses within JDU. The first course is the freedom before a godly relationship. So many of you were talking about how night 1 of this challenge was freedom. You experienced freedom in that. That was just a little drop in the bucket. What we have in JDU, in that freedom course, you're going to learn, what does God think about you? Yeah. And how do you embrace his love? You're going to learn, how do you thrive no matter what season of life you're in? Because unfortunately, if we're being honest, so many of us have despised our single season at one point or another. Not everybody, but some people have definitely struggled with that. We're going to teach you how do you thrive no matter what season of life you're in, because you're going to need that in marriage.
Right.
We're going to help you. How do you put yourself out there without fearing rejection of what other people think? So many of you, and we're so proud of you, last night, you pushed past that fear of man.
Yeah.
And you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you how do you continue to do that.
Right.
In course 2, we're going to teach you the foundation of a godly relationship. There's a foundation that you need to have in order to have a healthy relationship. We're going to teach you how do you strengthen your friendship with your partner and those around you. See, this is really important, y'all. If you want to have a good relationship, you have to be a good friend. So the good news is you can start that right now.
Right.
You don't need a relationship to work on that. You can learn how to be a good friend, learn how to die to yourself, learn how to sacrifice, learn how to honor. All of that can be done in a friendship.
God's giving you everything you need.
Absolutely. You can also learn how to prioritize your personal needs through appropriate boundaries. So Glenn talked about it, how much he learned about what boundaries you should set, because there are specific boundaries that you definitely going to want to have in place.
Right.
We walk you through that in this course. We're also going to help you gain the wisdom you need to be successful through mentorship and community. So we're going to walk you through how do you get a mentor? How do you use a mentor? How do you listen to a mentor? How do you know what advice you should take? Is there advice you shouldn't take? We're going to walk you through all of that. In course 3, we're going to walk you through the framework of a godly relationship. Here, we're going to help you get the tools to have effective and healthy conflict. You heard Glenn earlier tonight. He was talking about communication. Yeah. How once you're in a relationship, it's like
it's real.
It's like, yo, like,
real deal, holy deal.
Why can't you read my mind? I still be wishing.
I mean, a lot of times you're like, I don't even know what I'm thinking. Well, I can't even tell you. I don't even know.
In this course, we're also going to help you identify your strengths and how you can pair that with your partners. See, so often in dating, it can be great because like, oh, like he's so different than me, and like that's cute when you're dating, but then when you get married,
it's not cute.
The same thing that was
annoying.
Cute becomes annoying. So we're going to teach you how do we keep that cute.
Yeah.
We're also going to teach you how do you learn how to ask the right questions to connect on a deeper level. This is all about emotional intimacy. We're going to teach you what that means. We're going to teach you what that should look like. We're going to teach you how to do that without getting too close.
Yeah. How does that pair with boundaries?
Close. You're making it hard for me. All right. The last course is the future of a godly relationship. All of this is inside Just Dating University, the 12-month membership. Here you're going to learn the future of a godly relationship. You're going to learn how do you involve your family in your dating process, even if they aren't Christians.
Yeah.
Even if they aren't Christians, we're going to show you how to involve them.
Crazy and Christian or both or either.
Because there's so much you can learn from somebody's family.
So much.
There's things that Pauline didn't tell me, but when I got around her family, I was like, oh, okay.
It makes sense.
Okay. And the same thing for her, I'm sure. You're also going to learn what are the 4 practical areas you must discuss with your partner to prepare for engagement. There's 4 areas that you got to prepare for. You got to talk about with your partner before you even get engaged.
Because how many of y'all know just because you got the ring doesn't mean that it's final.
And here's why this is so important. Because honestly, for most people, once you get that engagement ring, it's going to be hard to see any other flaws.
Yeah, your guard is completely.
Because you're like, look, we're going to get married now. We don't put it on Instagram. We don't put it on TikTok. We going to get married.
Put the deposit down. Yeah.
And last, you're going to be able to determine when is the best time to get engaged. So what are people saying about JDU? And if you saw anything in those 4 courses that you're like, yeah, I definitely can learn more, let us know what that is in the comments. But here's what some other people are saying in JDU. Matiza, one of our alumni, she said, I definitely could write an entire thesis about the positive impact JDU has done for my life. This is the best investment I could have done in my singleness. I appreciate Tim and Pauline's authenticity, transparency, and genuine heart. The description of JDU is being the blueprint of godly dating, and that's nothing but facts. What's the next one say?
Shavas told us, his words exactly. He said, it gave me a godly perspective on dating I had never been introduced to in different areas. I now have a working list on what I need to work on during my singleness and what to look out for in a spouse when spying out the land and dating. And Becca let us know that my experience with JDU drastically impacted my perspective of singleness, dating, and marriage as a Christian. I learned so much about myself, what I actually want one day, and how to become the person God calls me to be during singleness.
Yeah, that's good. So some of you are on here and you're wondering, what is the investment? You're wondering, I'm all in. I'm excited about JDU. You're wondering what the investment is. Before we do that, we want to just give some perspective.
Yeah.
The cost to hire a dating coach or a matchmaker could range anywhere from $10,000 to $5,000. You can Google that and look it up. But don't worry, we're not charging you anywhere close. And we're going to give you even better services, to be honest, than those people would. So here's what you're going to get inside of JD. We already talked about the 4 courses. That's going to be those 12 video lessons. That's honestly valued at $997. Again, it's not close to that price, but just so you have an understanding of what the value is. You're also going to get a digital workbook. For those of you who got the workbook for the Ready for a Relationship Challenge, that was nothing compared to this workbook. You're going to get a workbook for each of the 4 courses to really help you dive deeper into the course material, make sure that you're really learning, give you a chance to pause and reflect.
Yeah, make it practical for you, something that you'll be able to hold on to for when you do get in a relationship, and also just track your growth.
Yeah, again, that alone is valued at $297. Then we're going to have the monthly masterclass where you're going to be able to come, and if you like these challenges, you're going to be able to get more of that, more teachings of what the Lord has taught us throughout our journey, where we've already helped hundreds of singles learn how to date in a godly way. We're going to have those monthly masterclasses. We're going to be able to have some Q&A. We're going to be able to just go deeper with you and answer your questions that you have been wanting to ask, but you haven't found at church. You haven't found on YouTube.
Yeah, your singles ministry isn't doing it. The February love series just only comes once a month.
We're gonna be there every month for you. And then you're also gonna have access to a private Facebook community. So last night we told you all about the Just Dating community that we have on Facebook. That's completely free.
Yeah.
You could join it tonight if you were interested. But we have a separate community just for people inside of Just Dating University. It's something special about being with people who are just as hungry as you are for a particular topic.
And Glenn talked about that was something that he really wanted, that was very valuable for him, was being able to, because some of y'all have pop-in group chats and y'all maybe can talk about sports or work or whatever it is. You can hit them up when you need recommendations for products or whatever. But if you ask them about dating advice, they say some crazy stuff and you're like, yeah, I can't. Yeah. I can't ask you about that. Or you see their relationships and you're like, I know that I don't want that. Yeah. I know somebody mentioned that last time. They're like, I don't really have anybody, to look up to, a relationship that I can admire. And that's where community comes in.
Yeah, we got some JDU fam in here tonight. What's up, fam? She's just showing you, like, the workbooks really are helpful, which I'm so glad to hear. So all of that, the workbook, the 12 lessons, the masterclass, the community, all of that's valued at over $1,500. And again, nowhere close to what the investment would be for this, but just for context. So the investment for Just Dating University is just one annual payment of $297. Or if you're not able to put that up front, you can choose to do $30 a month. So again, it's that annual payment of $297. That gives you all the 12 months of the master classes. It gives you the access to the course, to the workbook. Or for those who that may be a little steep right now, you can do that $30 a month. And for some of you, you're like, look, I know I spend $30 a month on Chick-fil-A.
Oh my gosh, that's dinner.
Starbucks. So imagine you're feeding your soul, but imagine how much you're feeding your body, I should say. But imagine how much more of you're feeding your mind, you're feeding your soul, you're feeding, okay, I want to learn how to do something well. Like, I just can't imagine how beneficial that would be to you to be able to make that investment. So if you're interested, you can go over to justdatinguniversity.com, or you can scan that QR code right there on your screen. If you're like, look, I already know I want to sign up right now. And we are going to have Q&A at the end of this. So if you have questions and you want to know more about it, we're going to stay on as long as people have questions. So you can stick around to the end for that, for sure. So we mentioned so much already.
Yes.
We mentioned the workbook. We mentioned the courses. We mentioned the masterclass. But we have more because we truly have a heart to see you win in your dating life.
Yeah, we want to add value to you.
These are bonuses. These aren't even in the cost. We're going to offer you the 9 couple questions PDF. Now, we've had people tell us that, honestly, which I don't know if I should be offended at or not, but we've had people tell us that this alone was worth the investment.
Yeah.
That the videos are cool. I missed the QR code. It's going to come up again, but I'll go back for you. Pauline will put it there. We've had people tell us that those PDFs are more valuable than the videos in the monthly masterclass. Here's why. Because we walk you through, and each topic has its own list of questions. So we have topics on family, we have topics on boundaries, we have topics on emotional intimacy, topics on communication, topics on friendship. And under each topic, we have 6 to 8 questions that we have for you to be able to talk through with your partner. So what do you think about family?
Yeah.
So how can I love you better? Like we have questions that go deep.
Right. It honestly just gets you started, because what makes a great relationship is great conversations.
Yes.
And what makes you feel ready to make next steps with somebody is how well you know them, how well you know yourself and your heart. And a lot of times, honestly, I remember one of the couples that we talked to, they actually just got engaged a couple of weeks ago. So there's results, y'all. There's results from our JDU grads. But she had, the girl in the couple, she had shared how, like, a lot of times she was afraid to go through these PDFs with her boyfriend at the time, but it's because she didn't know the answers for herself. So that self-awareness in her really, really grew. Because it's easy to ask somebody, hey, what did the impact of your dad have on you? But what would I say about that? Like, it was very, very challenging for her. And for those of you who are sitting here like, oh, that's cute, but I'm not in a relationship right now. You all just heard from Glenn how when you really go through this material and when you take it seriously, your life and your heart is going to change. And it's always not a guarantee that you're going to get in a relationship during or after JDU. But if you do, you'll be prepared. You'll have these PDFs for the rest of your life. Once you're in the program, you download them, save them on your computer, print them out, whatever the case is, and you'll be able to hold on to them, y'all. And your relationship will be so valuable and help you fall in love with the person you're with even faster, or help you figure out, yeah, we're not on the same page.
Yeah, and these questions honestly are good for you to ask yourself before you get in a relationship.
Right.
Because like Pauline said, the couple that we were talking about, one of them was like, I don't even know the answers for myself. So it's good for you to be able to ask yourself that before you have the pressure of somebody looking back at you like, yo, what's up?
Like, yeah, no one's ever asked me something this deep before. And also, I'll say too, for those of you who, you've been in long-term relationships before, maybe you've been married before and you're not anymore for whatever reason, and you're just like at the point in your life where you're like, I don't want to waste any time. The next time I go on a date or the next time I'm in a relationship, it's got to be the last one. You want to make sure that you take part in these bonuses because they literally will help you. They will cut down your relationship time.
Yes.
You don't need to wait 6 months to find out somebody's crazy. You can ask, if you ask them the right questions at the right time, you'll be able to save a lot of your time.
1,000%. So we got more bonuses, y'all. 8 ways to thrive in a long distance relationship. For those of you who may already be in a long distance relationship, for those of you who said you never would be in one, but you don't know what God has for you, we have this resource here for you because we want you to be able to be in a long distance relationship and do it well. So we have this resource here for you to be able to take part of.
Yeah, because some of you, even last night, maybe somebody who came across your mind for the first part of that challenge, you're like, oh, this person meets the criteria, but maybe they just live far away. We don't want you to have any excuses for missing on what God has for you. Don't let distance be, kind of ignite fear for you. You can do long distance well and do it in a godly way. We've seen it. We've helped a bunch of couples do it.
Absolutely. So we also, we just like, man, bonus after bonus after bonus,
yes,
so many bonuses. The other bonus we have is the best approaches on dating with kids. We don't know everyone on this call, so you may have some children that you want to learn, how do I date when I have them? We also, in this video, talked to a couple who has been married for over 20 years, and they were divorced and they had kids already before they got together. So we talked to them and we helped them. How do you start dating after a divorce? And we talked to them, when and how should you introduce your kids to your partner? Because that's important, y'all.
Right.
And then we talk about how do you build a fun, blended family. So that video goes deeper in that for those who may need that resource. So those bonuses alone are valued at $351, but they're absolutely free if you join Just Dating University. You can go over to justdatinguniversity.com if you want to learn more. Timberg, I am so excited that you're sold. We can't wait to have you in JDU. So here's what you're gonna get by joining JDU. Everything
All
that we talked about.
yeah.
You get the workbook. You get the 12 video lessons. You get the private Facebook community. You get the monthly master classes. You get the bonuses. All of that is inside of Just Dating University. And again, the goal is for you to feel prepared and feel equipped when you do start a relationship. 1, not to waste time. 2, help you avoid heartbreak. And 3, help you successfully prepare for marriage. So we have a fast action bonus for everybody that's on this call tonight. People who are not on this call, they're going to miss out, but that's what you get for being in the room.
If you're watching the playback, JD will be available to you, but the fast action bonus will.
Yeah, unless you happen to watch it tonight. So if you purchase JDU tonight, if you're already sold and you're like, look, I got the money, I was going to use it for a purse, but this is more important.
Black Friday sale
Look,
canceled.
Priorities. What?
Honestly, that purse is not going to keep you warm in 20 years.
You got to check. So if you purchase JDU tonight for the full annual payment, you'll be able to get these resources. You're going to get free entry to our dating mixer that's going to be happening next year. So you'll get a free ticket to that. You won't have to pay for that. And you may be able to find your Boaz or your Ruth there. You're also going to get access to the Unlock Your Dream Relationship Workbook. That workbook's really going to give you the keys to what? Unlock a dream relationship. What does it look like? If I had the relationship of my dreams, like what steps do I need to be able to achieve that, to be able to receive that? We go deep into that there. And then you're also going to get access to the 10 questions you must ask yourself.
Yeah.
We're not talking about nobody else. 10 questions you must ask yourself before you get married. So you get all of those combined if you purchase tonight for that annual payment. We would love to give those to you.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that's for the full annual payment, which is actually cheaper than the monthly membership. We, of course, have the monthly option available because it just works for some people's budgets better than others, and we don't ever want finances to be a barrier to you for you taking next steps. Marriage is just way too important. Way too important. Yeah. But this is only for the full payment.
Absolutely. So if you are interested or you want to learn more about JDU, the website's right there. We'll give you some time to scan the QR code. We are going to do some Q&A. So if you have questions, please put it in the chat. We'll be on here as long as we need to be to answer everybody's question because we really want to help you all if you want the help. So we'll wait for some of the questions. We got the QR code. If you want to scan it. And remember, there was a challenge tonight. The challenge was to do something that makes you uncomfortable. So whether that's JDU or not, pick something that you can do, a step that you can take to make yourself more uncomfortable. Maybe it was really doing what we said in night 2. You know you ain't doing it. So maybe it's actually doing that. If there's any questions on Just Dating University, please put it in the comments and we will answer every single question. But if you don't have any questions, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for taking 3 days out of your life. Thank you for taking 1 day out of your life to ask or to join us and learn what does it look like to have a healthy relationship? How does it like to be ready for a relationship? So we just appreciate you for being here with us. Whether you joined JD or not, we're just grateful you gave us your time. And we really hope that it blessed you. Really hope it helped you learn how to prepare for a godly relationship.
Yeah. We see people joining. Timbra, welcome. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes.
I will get it right once we get to have you on the monthly masterclass because I like to learn people's names correctly. But welcome to the fam. We're so excited that you're joining us.
Yes, and thank you all for joining. Maya, thank you. LaBelle, thank you. I've been scared to say your name this whole challenge, fam, but Royote,
Dio just joined JDU. We're so excited. Welcome, Dio.
And Royalty, if I said your name completely wrong, we still love you. Dio, what's up, fam? We are excited to have you. And the exciting thing is the first masterclass is
first Thursday in December.
Next Thursday. So you'll get to experience that right away, which is really cool.
Yes. Don't wait. I don't know if we mentioned, but enrollment is only going to be open until Thanksgiving. So this is very similar to real school. The enrollment period, what do they call it? The trade period, all of those things time sensitive. So if you're on the fence, you do have a couple of days to think about it, but don't let it linger too long. This is our third time opening enrollment for JDU this year. It's going to be our last time opening enrollment for 2022. And if you want to start, y'all, if one of your goals and like your New Year's resolutions for 2023 is to be in a godly, healthy, thriving relationship, don't start until January 1st to work on that, y'all. Start working on your best self now and your next steps now, so that in 2023 you can actually enjoy those things. You don't want to miss out.
Alma, thank you for the kind words. It's really our pleasure to do this. And if you're on the fence about JDU, take some time tonight, pray about it, ask the Lord if this is the right next step for you. And if it's not, like, that is totally cool.
Right. We have plenty of free content for you all. But the reason why I love JDU so much is because we are able to go deeper with you all. New relationships are so nuanced. You know, you all have your individual situations. You all have different needs. You all have different different things that you want in your relationships, and it provides a space for us to kind of go deeper with those Q&As and those open forums and the private Facebook group. So if that's something that you need, you're like, hey, I love the podcast, but I just need more, JDU is definitely something you want to consider.
It looks like there may not be any questions, which I'd be a little surprised. So if there's no questions, we'll stay on here a little bit longer just to make sure. But again, like, we can't say this is our first time doing a 3-day challenge. So we're just so honored that you would spend 3 days with us, even if you only spent 1 second. You just logged on. Yeah. We're glad that you're here. Remember, you can check out day 1, day 2, day 3. If you missed a day, they're going to be up on YouTube until Thanksgiving. So you'll be able to check all of those out until Thanksgiving. If you missed one, if you just want to rewatch it and see if there's something you missed, it's definitely worth your time.
Yes. Absolutely.
If there's no questions, we can definitely end it for the night.
So we still have some people on here though, so I'm wondering, like, what are y'all thinking? What are y'all kind of like? Are you on the fence about? What are you wondering? Let us know. Y'all haven't logged off yet, so I'm curious.
We're glad y'all still won't be with us. That's great.
They probably want to see it. It's kind of like when you're in class, you're like, well, I don't want to ask the questions. I'll wait for somebody else to ask.
Is there more than one Facebook group? Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question. So there is 2 Facebook groups. The first Facebook group is free for anybody across the world. Our Just Dating Facebook community. I'll share the link right now in the chat, and then you can describe the other one.
Describe.
So
the free group is Just Dating Community, and there is a private, much smaller group for our current enrolled students. That is going to be a private group. So the only people in that group are the ones who are in the JDU program.
I just shared the link for the free Facebook group for anybody. So whether you join JDU or not, please, if you're interested.
Yeah, please join that. Just take a next step for you. Maybe using Facebook community isn't a great, is one of the steps you need to take to be uncomfortable.
Naja, I hope I said your name correctly, fam. They said, is there a class once a month for JDU and then the other supplemental materials we need to follow? Is there a syllabus? LOL, in school mode? Yes, great question. I love it. So the monthly master classes are once a month, every first Thursday of the month. They are recorded so if life happens, you can't make it live for whatever reason, you'll have it there. We have a whole student portal. It's pretty excellent what we got going on. So there's a whole student portal where you'll be able to check that out. And then all the videos that we talked about, those are inside the student portal for you to be able to do at your own pace. Now, when we say do at your own pace, that is true, but we drip the content. So there's 12 videos, but we drip them out across the 12 months. Because we want to make sure that you're actually going through the content. We don't want you to just binge watch everything and then you don't actually sit with it and do the work.
Yeah, because we've actually done it. We've done that before. We have been doing this for over 5 years, actually. We have done it before where we kind of released all the content at one time. And some of our students gave us the feedback that it was kind of too much, like in the sense of, hey, I haven't really gotten to sit and chew and kind of dive into what this means for me. So we want to give you that time. And that's actually why we turned it into a membership. and made it a longer program so that you could actually not just consume information. Because how many of you guys have watched a bunch of sermons and read books about relationships, but you never actually practically apply what you've learned? And that's not what we want for you. We want you to have a space that's actually going to bring action and provoke you to change. So that's why we have structured the program the way that we have.
Yeah, great question. Awesome. I'm glad I said it, Naja. Praise God. At work, random channel surfing. What's up?
Welcome.
Thanks for the clarification. Absolutely. If there's any other questions, if you have a question, please don't go before we answer it. We will be on here as long as people have questions.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the enrollment period is now open for our JDU until Thanksgiving evening. So you do have some time to think about it. If you need to pray, which we definitely encourage you to do, pray about it, check your budget, all those different things, and see if this is the right next step for you, because we know that it's not the right next step for everybody. But you do have, some time to think about it. But if you're ready, if you're already bought in and you're like, hey, these past 3 days have been such a blessing, I want more, we wanted to open it up and invite you all to join the program.
Yeah. So if there's any other questions or things that we can clarify about anything, please let us know.
Yeah. It's a quieter night, which is totally fine. And maybe y'all are thinking like, oh man, like what should I do?
Maybe sad that it's over.
Aww.
We're gonna miss y'all too. This was fun. Doing this every night.
Every night, 3 nights in a row.
Has social media made relationships more difficult?
I think people make relationships more difficult. And sin and our decisions. Social media can sometimes make it easier for people to make bad decisions, but definitely I think social media, just like you said the other night, like dating apps are amoral. I believe that social media has been such a blessing to so many people, even like in the middle of lockdown, the height of COVID and things like that. There's a lot of ways people wouldn't be able to connect with others without social media. So I will never dog social media, but with everything, you have to know how you use it is super, super important.
Yeah, we should have said this earlier. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely,
yes, please subscribe.
Definitely subscribe, because we got a lot more stuff coming in 2023. We coming and gonna help as many people as possible. So definitely subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any videos we drop, any challenges we may do in the future. You'll be able to know about it. So we would love for you to join our YouTube family. Sinthimba, did I say your name right? I hope I did. But we said it's over too. You're gonna have to get us over to South Africa.
Yes, we're so glad that you joined. We'd love to hear how you heard about our channel.
How did you hear about
all the way in South Africa? I've always wanted to go to South Africa specifically, but just the continent of Africa in general. And it's like 4 a.m. your time. It's crazy.
You must not need sleep. I just realized. We just hanging around, seeing if there's any more questions about JDU that we can answer. You can put it in the comments, put it in the chat. If not, we will definitely call it a night.
Yeah, we hope to see y'all again, whether it be on the W podcast, on Instagram, on TikTok, in the Facebook community. We'd love to see you all over there. If not in JDU itself, make sure that you are staying connected one way or the other. Whatever the investment in the next step is for you, make sure you take it, whether it's JDU or otherwise.
Sinthimba, I said it right. Let's go. She said, I don't know how I got plugged in, but I'm grateful to God for putting me in the space. We are grateful too. We're so glad to have you. And we just want to help you win however we can with your dating life. And you're going to have a good one. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, fam.
Thank y'all for joining. We'll see y'all the next challenge, which won't be until next year.
Yes. Tell your friends about this challenge if they missed it. The recordings are going to be up till Thanksgiving. Tell them about JDU if you think it would be valuable to them.
Yes, and we hope to see some of you in. Some more of you. We're excited about the ones who did join tonight, but you have a few more days until Thanksgiving to join Gestating University. Don't go into 2023 doing the same thing. Do something different to see different results.
Absolutely. Love y'all.
Bye.